A movie about faking a trip to Mars was shot by a cast secretly living stranger plots of their own, a leading man's ex-wife who'd marry his own co-star, an astronaut's wife just out of a 7-year romance with another Hollywood name, and a bit player who'd become godfather to a future sitcom superstar. Welcome back to Golden Era Stars. 48 years later, here's where they all are.
Elliott Gould played Robert Caulfield, the scruffy investigative reporter who refuses to let a fishy NASA story die, who almost wasn't in this movie at all. Gould was 38 when production began in January 1977, and he only landed the lead because the filmmaker's first choice, Dustin Hoffman, was tied up shooting All the President's Men. Producer Paul Lazarus later admitted he never even bothered approaching Hoffman about a role he considered too marginal for a star of that size. So the part fell to Gould, fresh off a run of mid-70s comedies with Diane Keaton, who brought a rumpled, wisecracking energy to a character written as a grinding cynic chasing a government cover-up. It became one of his biggest commercial hits of the decade.
Today, at 87, Elliott Gould, born Elliott Goldstein in Brooklyn to a textiles buyer and a florist, is still remembered by most modern audiences not as Robert Caulfield, but as Jack Geller, Ross and Monica's father on Friends, a role that introduced him to an entirely new generation decades after Capricorn One. He was previously married to Barbra Streisand from 1963 to 1971, and the two share a son, Jason. Gould has continued working steadily in film and television into his 80s. On screen, Caulfield spent the movie chasing a conspiracy to expose the truth. In real life, Gould's own story took a stranger turn. His ex-wife, Barbra Streisand, would go on to marry his Capricorn One co-star, James Brolin, 2 decades later.
James Brolin played Colonel Charles Brubaker, the mission commander who discovers his successful Mars landing was staged, who spent his own childhood obsessively building and flying model airplanes years before NASA ever came calling. Brolin was 36 when filming began, already a familiar face to television audiences from his run as Dr. Stephen Kiley on Marcus Welby, MD, which had earned him an Emmy and 2 Golden Globes. Capricorn One gave him a shot at a leading man role in a big-budget thriller, playing opposite Elliott Gould in a story about the exact kind of institutional deception the country had just lived through with Watergate.
Today, at 86, James Brolin, born Craig Kenneth Bruderlin, a name he changed at age 20 because Bruder is German for brother, has built a career spanning more than 140 film and television credits, including a memorable turn as George Lutz in the Amityville Horror the year after Capricorn One. He has been married to Barbra Streisand since 1998 and is the father of actor Josh Brolin from an earlier marriage. Now in his 80s, he still takes occasional roles, including voicing Emperor Zurg in 2022's Lightyear. On screen, Brubaker fought a conspiracy to get home to his family. Off-screen, Brolin married straight into one. His wife was previously married to his own Capricorn One co-star, Elliott Gould, making Brolin stepfather to Gould's son, Jason. Sam Waterston played Lieutenant Colonel Peter Willis, the wisecracking third astronaut who becomes the crew's in-flight jokester before the mission unravels, who married his second wife, former model Lynn Woodruff, the very same year he strapped into a spacecraft for this film. Waterston was 36 during filming, a Yale-trained stage actor who'd already earned a Golden Globe nomination for The Great Gatsby a few years earlier. Critics singled out his performance here as one of the more human touches in an otherwise tense conspiracy thriller, playing the astronaut who keeps the crew's spirits up even as their situation grows increasingly desperate. Today, at 85, Sam Waterston, born Samuel Atkinson Waterston in Cambridge, Massachusetts, is best known to most viewers for playing District Attorney Jack Watoy on Law & Order across 2 decades and multiple revivals. He and Lynn Woodruff had 4 children together, including actress Catherine Waterston. He remains an active humanitarian, and in 2019, at age 78, he was arrested outside the U.S. Capitol alongside his Grace and Frankie co-star Jane Fonda while protesting the government's climate policies. Willis spent this film keeping his fellow astronauts calm while dodging a cover-up orchestrated from the top. Decades later, Waterston was the one getting handcuffed for standing up to the government himself. O.J. Simpson played Commander John Walker, the third member of the doomed Mars crew.
who was still an active starting running back for the Buffalo Bills when he reported to set to play an astronaut. Simpson was 29 during filming, cast over the objections of director Peter Hyams, who had wanted Robert Hooks or Bernie Casey for the role. The studio insisted on Simpson instead, banking on the fame he'd built as a record-breaking NFL rusher and a rising Hertz commercial pitchman. It was one of several film roles Simpson juggled alongside his football career in the mid-1970s, following an appearance in the Roots miniseries the same year.
O.J. Simpson died at 76 of cancer in April 2024, having been born Orenthal James Simpson in San Francisco. After retiring from football as one of the league's all-time leading rushers and a Pro Football Hall of Famer, he built a long second career as an actor and broadcaster, including a recurring role in the Naked Gun film series. In 1995, he stood trial for the murders of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman, and was acquitted, a case that became one of the most closely watched in American legal history and permanently reshaped how the public remembered him. Walker died a fictional hero, killed to protect a cover-up. Simpson's real life ended as one of the most infamous public figures of his era.
Hal Holbrook played Dr. James Kellaway, the NASA director who masterminds the fake Mars landing and threatens the astronauts' families to keep them quiet, who had just spent the previous year playing Deep Throat, the secret Watergate informant in All the President's Men. Holbrook was 51 when filming began, already one of the most respected character actors in America thanks to his decades-long stage show Mark Twain Tonight. It was a striking bit of casting symmetry. Within the space of 2 films, Holbrook went from playing the man who exposed a government cover-up to playing the man engineering one.
Hal Holbrook died at 95 in January 2021, having been born Harold Rowe Holbrook Jr. in Cleveland, Ohio. He continued performing his solo Mark Twain show for over 60 years, retiring it only in 2017. And at 82, he became the oldest man ever nominated for an Academy Award for his supporting role in Into the Wild. He was married to actress Dixie Carter from 1984 until her death in 2010. Kellaway spent Capricorn One's runtime hiding the truth from an entire nation. Holbrook spent most of his life doing precisely the opposite, resurrecting one of America's most famous truth-tellers on stage, night after night, for 6 decades.
Brenda Vaccaro played Kay Brubaker, the astronaut's wife who keeps a lonely vigil as her husband's mission unfolds on television, who had just wrapped up a 7-year real-life romance with Michael Douglas when she took the role. Vaccaro was 37 during filming, having moved to Los Angeles with Douglas years earlier, before their relationship ended around 1976. She brought her trademark husky voice and warmth to a part that required her to project quiet devotion on screen, even while her real off-camera love story with Douglas had just come to a close.
Today, at 86, Brenda Vaccaro, born Brenda Vaccaro to Italian-American restaurateur parents in Brooklyn, remains one of the most enduring names from 1970s Hollywood, having earned an Academy Award nomination for Once Is Not Enough around the same period. She has been married to restaurateur Guy Hector since 1986. She has continued working steadily into her 80s, appearing in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, HBO's And Just Like That, and the 2025 Netflix film Nanas. On screen, Kay Brubaker waited faithfully at home for a husband who might never return. Off-screen, Vaccaro had already moved on from her own real-life leading man, years before the cameras even rolled.
Telly Savalas played Albane, the eccentric crop duster pilot who helps the reporter uncover the truth in the film's climactic chase, who was already one of the most recognizable faces on American television as Kojak by the time he strapped into a biplane for the role. Savalas was 54 during filming, 6 seasons deep into his star-making run as the lollipop-loving TV detective. His scenes in Capricorn One, though brief, became some of the movie's most memorable, thanks largely to the sheer star wattage he brought to a supporting role.
Telly Savalas died at 72 of prostate cancer, one day after his birthday in January 1994, having been born Aristoteles Savalas to Greek immigrant parents in New York. He continued reprising the Kojak character in TV movies throughout the 1980s, even after the original series ended. He was married 3 times and had 6 children, including singer Ariana Savalas. He was also godfather to a young family friend who would go on to become one of the biggest television stars in the world, Jennifer Aniston. Al Bain buzzed a getaway car with his crop duster for laughs in one unforgettable scene. Savalas, in real life, had an unforgettable connection of his own, hiding in plain sight. Karen Black played Judy Drinkwater, the fellow reporter who helps Robert Caulfield chase down his story, who arrived on set already an Academy Award nominee for 5 Easy Pieces and a 2-time Golden Globe winner. Black was 37 during filming, one of the defining actresses of the new Hollywood era of the early 1970s. Her scenes with Elliott Gould leaned into a lighter, screwball energy that stood out against the film's otherwise paranoid tone, giving Capricorn One some of its rare comic relief. Karen Black died at 74 of ampullary cancer in August 2013, having been born Karen Blanche Ziegler in Park Ridge, Illinois. In her later decades, she pivoted largely toward horror films, starting with 1986's Invaders from Mars, in which she co-starred alongside her own son, Hunter Carson. She was married 4 times, most recently to filmmaker Stephen Eckelberry, remaining together until her death. Drinkwater spent the film as a sharp, dogged newspaper reporter, helping chase down a government cover-up. Black spent her real final years chasing something else entirely, reinventing herself as a cult horror icon working alongside her own child.
David Huddleston played Congressman Hollis Peaker, a blustery politician sparring over the cost of the Mars program, who spent much of the 1970s playing exactly this kind of loud, self-important authority figure. Huddleston was 46 during filming, a former Air Force aircraft mechanic turned prolific character actor, already known for comic supporting roles in films like Blazing Saddles. His scenes in Capricorn One added a political dimension to the film's conspiracy, playing a skeptical lawmaker unaware of how deep the cover-up actually went. David Huddleston died at 85 of heart and kidney disease in August 2016, born David William Huddleston in Vinton, Virginia. 2 decades after Capricorn One, he landed the role that would define his legacy for a new generation, the title character in the Coen brothers' cult classic The Big Lebowski. He was married to Sarah Copey at the time of his death. Peaker was a forgettable bureaucrat arguing over budget line items in a movie about a fake Mars landing. Huddleston, decades later, became unforgettable as an entirely different kind of Lebowski.
Capricorn One hit U.S. theaters on May 5, 1978, made on a roughly $5 million budget that returned more than $12 million in North American rentals alone. Of this 10-person cast, 6 have passed away, while Elliott Gould, James Brolin, Sam Waterston, and Brenda Vaccaro are still alive and, in several cases, still working today. The mission in this film was never real, but the lives its cast went on to lead after the camera stopped rolling turned out to be stranger than anything the script could have written.